Fish are one of the most common pets in the world, and a lot of people like them because they're so easy to care for. The only hard part that I've ever had with caring for fish is keeping the temperature in the tank at the right thing. And that's why today I am going to be showing you guys how to do that in your aquarium. So I currently have 3 aquariums. I have a turtle tank with my Ritter Slider Taco, which you guys have probably already seen in one of my previous videos. And then I have my guppy breeding tank, and this is another one that you guys have seen. And then all the way over here I have my beta tank, beta, however you want to say it, and he's in there somewhere. But today I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly heat your tank. So let's get on to the supplies that you probably would like to use to heat your tanks. It'll make it a whole ton easier. Also, I just made it sound like these aren't required, but some of these are required to heat the tank. Some of them are not. I would just listen to what I talk about, and I'll tell you if they're required or if they're just a good thing to use. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about on this list is, of course, the heater. We all know them, we all love them, and we all probably use them for most of our fish. But that's how we heat the tanks. So this right here is a type of old-fashioned heater. Back there is a more newly fashioned one that probably works quite a bit better and is much harder to break. Heaters are really the best heating element you could use for a fish tank. They're in the water, they heat the water good, but there is a problem with heaters. And that's that some heaters don't have a temperature gauge on them, so you can't basically tell what temperature you're turning them to. They might have a hot or cold thing, but that doesn't mean that then you still won't know what temperature, so you need to monitor the temperature. Which brings us on to our next thing for setting up heat in your aquarium. And I'm talking about the thermometer. So this right here, normal, just strip thermometer. I don't really use this one because it's not super accurate, but you can see the one that is brightest tells you the heat and how warm it is. So you can see that it's 80 degrees in my beta tank right now, beta, whatever. So it's 80 degrees in there, and that just tells me how warm it is. So if you have one of these and you have a heater, you have to get a thermometer if you're having a fish tank. That's a requirement, definitely. Even if your fish doesn't need a heater, still get a thermometer. You don't want your temperature dropping too low or getting too hot for some reason. Just get a thermometer. Now, out of thermometers, I really don't recommend these strip ones. They're not super accurate. As you can see, this only reads about every 2 degrees. So you want a much more accurate one. So this isn't a thermometer that I have in my fish tank. This is actually in my leopard gecko tank, but I thought it would be a good example. You can get these types of thermometers for fish tanks as well. They're a bit more accurate than the strip ones, but they're still not as accurate as the one I'm just going to show. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best thermometers you can get for fish tanks. This is called a infrared thermometer or a temperature gun, whatever you want to call it. But this is one of the most accurate ones that you can get for fish tanks. I definitely recommend it. I got this for, I think, 15 bucks on Amazon. I will definitely provide a link in the description or in the comments section so you guys can go get one too. I'll actually provide links to everything that I'm probably using here in the description. And it's just great. If you come over here, you can see, you can just point it through the glass. It is more accurate if you point it directly into the water, but you can still do it through the glass, and it's still pretty accurate. You can see it reads 78, which is different than this strip. So this is much more accurate. And this is the Helect infrared thermometer. And it just works really good. I'll go over to my guppy tank. 73 right now. 76. So it's just really accurate. It works really good. Don't use this. If you buy this, do not use this for humans, because don't use it on humans. It's just not good. It's not made for humans. And don't use it on your animals either. It's sometimes a fun toy if you point the infrared around, but don't let your animals actually, don't point it at your animal's eyes, because it could blind them. So just be careful with that. You can see the cichlid in here really likes it, and they can chase it and stuff, but just don't point it right at them, or you could potentially blind them, and that's not a good thing. So yeah, this is the Helect infrared thermometer. Works really well. And if you need to, if you don't live in the US like me, you can switch it to Celsius. Right here it says C and F. And it just works really good. So I definitely recommend it. So we kind of went off to the thermometer after we did the heater. But I'm going to be showing you guys another heating source. And this is I like to call them basking lamps, because that's what I call them with my basking reptiles. But they're really just a heat lamp. And now I don't recommend them as much as I do normal heaters. But if you have a fish that doesn't need as much heat, these would be a good heating source if you still want some kind of heat on them. They provide a good amount of heat as long as the water's pretty high. And they're just, if you want a light on them and some heating, this is a good combination of both. You can get it for cheaper since it's both in one. And yeah, it's just good. The fish like it too. And they will come up to the light and probably be a bit more active. But if you have fish that need a lot warmer water, I do not recommend this, and I would just get a normal heater that goes in the water. So another thing I've heard for fish tanks to heat them are heat mats. And I don't actually use any of these myself, and I am not sure how good they work. But I think you can try them on your own if you want to. The thing with heat mats is that with heat mats, they could be easier to control because you can get thermostats, which are pretty expensive, but you can get thermostats and control the temperature of the heat mat. But if you want to get a heat mat, I would do more research on it. And most of the time, they end up being more expensive than a heat lamp or just a normal water heater. So I don't honestly recommend heat mats because I don't have any experience with them. But maybe one day I'll try one out and see how it goes. Now that we've talked about all the products that have to do with heat that you can get for your fish tank and some of them that you have to get, now let's talk about how to warm up or cool down your fish tank. So warming up your fish tank is much easier than cooling it down. So if you have an aquarium heater, most aquarium heaters come with like a temperature gauge. Now it probably doesn't say the actual temperatures, but it can tell you which side is the low side and the cool side and which side is the warm side. So you can turn it how you want. If you want to turn it hot, you're going to turn it this way or just how it marks it. But right now this is on cool because this would get too hot for the betta. So we have it right now on the cool side. But this is not how you cool down a fish tank. So moving on to how to cool down a fish tank. So with a lot of fish tanks, you might have a heater, and if you want to warm it up, it's easy. Just like I said before, you just turn it that way. If you want to cool the tank down, even if you turn the heater completely off, it's not going to cool down your fish tank. And it might cool down maybe a degree, but it's probably not going to cool it down to what you want. If you have this, I recommend taking maybe a few cups full of the warmer water and dumping it out, and then fill up some of those cups with cooler water. Make sure, of course, it's safe for your fish, so use some fish chemicals to make it safe if you need to, if you have tap water. And then that should cool down your tank gradually. Make sure to have your heater off too. And yeah, if you are doing this with a lamp, though, basically you just want to turn the lamp off and then do the same thing, and then just get some colder water, replace some of the hot water with cooler water, and gradually it'll get much cooler. And like I said before, I don't have any experience with the heat mats, so I'm pretty sure though with that you would just turn the heat mat off and then do the same thing that I just said. So these are basically all the ways to keep your aquarium nice and the right temperature. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to see when all my future videos come out. Have a great day. Bye.